Hi everybody, welcome to another Born to Read from Home video. My name is Kasey and I'm filming from the Vellore Village Library today, and I'm hoping that we are all ready for our Storytime train. Are we ready to go? Here we go. Oh, the Storytime train is coming, how are you? Choo choo. Oh, the Storytime train is coming, how are you? Choo choo. Oh, the Storytime train is coming, the Storytime train is coming. Oh, the Storytime train is coming, how are you? Choo choo. And we say hello to our friends, how are you? Choo choo. And we say hello to our friends, how are you? Choo choo. And we say hello to our friends, we say hello to our friends, oh, we say hello to our friends, how are you? Choo choo. Because the more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. 'Cause your friends are my friends and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Thank you for singing our welcome songs with me. The new baby sign that I would like to teach you today is the sign for I love you and also the sign for love. So the American Sign Language sign for I love you, it's easy for grown-ups to do. It's just like this, like you're throwing up the horns but put out your thumb. So the reason this is I love you in American Sign Language is because it combines the signs for the letter I, the letter L, and the letter Y. So you wind up with I-L-Y, I love you. This one is very hard for a baby to do, of course. So I'd like to also teach you the sign for love, which is something that your baby could start using at an earlier age. So the sign for love, you cross your arms in front of you with your fists, and you just give it a squeeze, kind of like you're hugging yourself. If you feel like you're getting a hug, you're doing it right. So you can tell your baby, I love you. I love you. Or you can just say, I love you. Whatever works for you. Now, last week I talked about a good way to help your baby feel more independent and more in control of the world around them by giving them choices when you can throughout the day. I think this is a great way of showing love for your baby. And another simple way that you can show love for your baby in a way that helps them develop a sense of self and independence, which is really what we want to do as parents, is by giving them jobs to do. And you can do this from quite a young age, to be honest. A lot of parenting books will recommend that early chores will involve cleaning up, helping with cleanup, so putting their toys back in their toy box, or wherever they keep their toys at the end of the day. And as soon as your baby is capable of standing up with some confidence, you can have them help you with cooking, potentially. I don't do either of those things in my home. My child, who's 2 right now, will not clean up on demand. She does occasionally decide to put toys back in boxes that she got them out of, but never when I ask her to, so that's okay. And you can start with smaller, simpler jobs with your baby as well. One random story that I have of giving a baby a job that really helped with our daily routines is a weird one. Around 1 year of age, so within our 0 to 18 month range that we're talking about for Born to Read, we are having a little bit of a power struggle over bedtime. My little one did not want to go to bed, and she made it difficult on us, and it was unpleasant for everyone. And this worked like magic. It won't necessarily work with your kid, but it's the kind of thing you can think about. One day I decided to ask her if she could help me turn off the light in her room for bedtime. And she was very excited about this, and she was very excited when she was able to. I picked her up and held her up to the switch, and she turned the light out herself. And she was so excited, she forgot to fight bedtime. And that worked for 2 or 3 days in a row. And by then we were back into a good routine, and she forgot to fight me. It was great. So giving your baby jobs makes them feel involved in the process in the same way that giving them choices makes them feel involved. And it's a great way to help your baby develop a sense of themselves. Awesome. So in light of that talk, I'd like to sing a Fred Penner song with you today. This one is called You Can Do It If You Try. It's a little more difficult than some of the other songs that I sing, so forgive me in advance if I'm not as good as Fred Penner, but we're going to try to do it together. Here we go. It goes like this. You can do it if you try. You can do it if you try. You can do it if you try. You can learn to crawl, learn to walk, learn to run, learn to talk. You can learn to sing a song. You really can't go wrong. You can do it if you try. You can do it if you try. You can do it if you try. And even if you're not as good as me, and I wasn't even perfect there, it's all right. Showing your baby that it's okay to try even if you're not great at something is also a good lesson. So that's my fun little song for today. Let's do a finger play together as well. This little finger play is related to my I love you earlier. It's one that's about a heart, so we're going to teach the baby a little bit about the shape of the heart, and it's going to be something for us to move our hands together. It's a very simple hand motion, so younger babies might be able to do it. And here we go. It goes like this. I put my hands together. This is how I start. And then I curve my fingers around and I make a heart. If you want to do this with your thumbs as well to make the classic hand heart, you can do it that way too. When I do it that way, I usually say I put my fingers together. So like this. I put my fingers together. This is how I start. I curve my fingers around, and then I make a heart. So either way, I put my hands together and curve them like this, or I put my fingers together and curve them like this. Both work. All right. I think it's time for me to get Prepe out for this week. Prepe, are you ready to bounce on my lap with me? This week's lap bounce involves bouncing and tickling and hugging, which means it's one of my favorite lap bounces. I like the ones that involve some more fun things. And it's also very simple, so here we go. I bounce you here, I bounce you there, I bounce you everywhere. I tickle you here, I tickle you there, I tickle you everywhere. And I hug you here, I hug you there, I hug you everywhere. And I forgot to do my disclaimer, but of course if you're doing this rhyme with your baby, I have Pepe facing away from me and towards you. That's just so you can see his cute face. If you're doing it with your baby, you always want your baby facing you, so you get some face time. It's always good for your baby to be looking at you when you're talking. That's one of the ways they learn how to talk. And also because you're the most important person in your baby's life. They want to be looking at you. Let's do that one more time because it's a very short one. I bounce you here, I bounce you there, I bounce you everywhere. I tickle you here, I tickle you there, I tickle you everywhere. I hug you here, I hug you there, I hug you everywhere. What a good rhyme together. Don't you think so, Pepe? Mm-hmm. And thank you for doing that one with me. It's already time for our goodbye song today. So for a goodbye song, we need to be ready to clap our hands together and stomp our feet together and then wave goodbye together. Are we ready? This is the way we clap our hands, clap our hands, clap our hands. This is the way we clap our hands at the end of story time. And this is the way we stomp our feet, stomp our feet, stomp our feet. This is the way we stomp our feet at the end of story time. This is the way we wave goodbye, wave goodbye, wave goodbye. This is the way we wave goodbye at the end of story time. And if you would like to take this moment to transition to sharing a book with your child, that's a great idea. I can't share books with you on our pre-recorded videos, so that's why I'm not reading to your children during these videos. But it's always a good time to read with your little one. I've got some book recommendations for you today. Today I've brought out Bear Sees Colors by Karma Wilson and Jane Chapman. It's part of a really significant series of books that center around this bear here. The first book is a wonderful book called Bear Snores On. They all have wonderful rhythm and rhyme, and there's recurring characters, so if your baby likes one of the books, and then you can continue on with other stories about the same characters, it's a great way to get them invested in stories. This one here in particular is actually a concept book. There are several stories about Bear. Bear snores on, Bear can't sleep, Bear says thanks. And then Karma Wilson and Jane Chapman got together and made a series of concept books. This one's about colors. There's also a Bear is Counting book and several books like that. So I love these books. I think they're great. Another good series to get your child into is Jeremy Tankard's Grumpy Bird. He has several books about birds' various moods. Grumpy Bird, I believe, was the first one. There's also Sleepy Bird, Hungry Bird, Boo-hoo Bird, and it's all Bird and his friends helping him deal with his feelings, which is lovely. And finally, The Mixed Up Truck by Stephen Savage. This is just a fun story about a cement mixer's first day on the job. He's asked to make some cement, but he's never done it before. He knows he's supposed to mix the white powder with the water, but he keeps mixing the wrong things, and so first he accidentally makes a cake, and then he accidentally makes icing for that cake. It's very silly. I promise you he eventually gets to make his cement, but it's a fun book to read, and it has good repetition, because he has repeated attempts to make the cement, and he mixes the white powder with the water with different results each time. So it's a good one for your young babies. All right. Thank you so much for joining me for another Born to Read video. I really hope I get to see you again soon. Bye-bye.